team. Welcome back to another virtual class. Hope you've enjoyed the last few classes that we've done. Got a few little different things planned for you today, nothing too crazy, but we'll take the opportunity to remind you just to listen to your bodies, work within the range that's comfortable for your body today. If you are choosing to do the classes several times throughout the week, which you are welcome to do, you've got them for 7 days, you might start to take some notice about how your body feels in different exercises in different days. And if you are maybe playing with the times of the day that you do it, notice about how your body feels as well. Just a little few hints and tips like that. Don't need to do any of that, but it just will give you some idea of how your body feels earlier in the week compared to later in the week, earlier in the morning compared to later in the morning. Sometimes it's hard to find time to do routine at different times of the day, so it's not compulsory or anything. It's just something that's good to play with. Okay, so we're going to roll ourselves out. If you haven't already rolled yourself out, roll yourself out for a bit longer. Obviously feel free to stop the video and keep rolling yourself out. Be mindful of your space, so careful of what's around you. Don't want you to run into anything or hurt yourself on any of the stuff that's in your home. Once you've rolled yourself out, we're going to fly into our goalpost position and lie on top of our rollers. If you prefer to be on the floor or don't want to use your roller today, obviously that's fine. We're not going to have you up there for too long. I just do really like the pec stretch that lying on the foam roller in goalpost position gives us. So wriggle yourself up there if you're not already there. Once you're up there, you're just going to take a moment to think about your alignment. So in our perfect world, we want all of our joints lined up. So our ankle joint lined with our knee joint lined with our hip joint. So make sure that alignment's nice and straight. You can do that from when you're lying down if you prefer. And then once you're down on your roller, you're going to think about your head, neck and shoulder alignment. So we often end up with our chin tucked a little bit too far in towards our chest. You want that nice little gap. So you want to have a nice little gap between your chin and your chest so your neck is nice and long. Arms are going to float out into the goalpost position. If that's uncomfortable for you, feel free to just put them down by your side. And you're just going to hang here and you're just going to take some nice big deep breaths. As you hang here and breathe, you're going to feel that stretch happening across the front of your chest. And you're taking big deep breaths, I mean breathing in through your nose if you can, and breathing out through your mouth. You can play around with that arm position. You can tuck your elbows in a little bit further towards your side. You can bring your arms and your hands further up by your ears. It's going to give you a different stretch through the chest and the pecs. Nice big deep breaths. It's going to get some movement through the rib cage and our thoracic spine. Eyes are staying open when we're up here. We don't want to lose our balance by closing our eyes and losing our sense of where we are in space. Sounds weird, but people do close their eyes. You're going to do 2 more breaths. Big deep breath in, allow those ribs to expand, and then exhale. Slowly let all the air out of your lungs that you can. You've got 1 more breath like that. Big deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. We're going to do our diaphragmatic belly breathing. So if you can float your hands forwards to me, place one of your hands in the bottom of your rib cage and your other hand is going to sit on top of your belly. So you're going to breathe with your bellies for me. So as you breathe in, you're going to feel your belly lifting up underneath your hand, and as you breathe out, you feel that belly gently dropping down. So breathing in through your nose if you can still, and out through your mouth. And as you take those nice big deep breaths, the belly lifts and lowers. You should feel that movement underneath your hand. Rib cage will be relatively still because we're focusing on diaphragmatic breathing. We're accentuating that breathing. This is not a normal breath pattern for adults. Little babies breathe like this. If you watch a little baby, you'll see their bellies lifting and lowering. Adults that have been taught to sing or play a brass or a wind instrument generally know how to diaphragmatic breathe, but it's not a normal breath pattern for adults generally. 2 more breaths. Big deep breath in, allow that belly to lift, exhale to let the air out, and last one, big deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. You're going to float your arms down by your side, and we're going to bring you off of your rollers. So you're going to gently roll to one side, you're going to grab the roller with your hand, you're going to slide it out from underneath you, and you're going to lie down on your back. Once you're down on your back, you're going to recheck your alignment for me, particularly your head, neck and shoulder alignment. So that nice little gap between our chin and our chest. We're going to bring our arms down by our side, and we're going to wriggle our knees and feet together so they're touching each other. So knees and feet are touching. We're going to keep our pelvis nice and still. If for you prefer to put your hands on your hips to feel whether your pelvis is moving or not, feel free. Some people also like to have one hand on the hip and one hand slid underneath the lumbar spine, that little gap, to feel if there's any movement. You can also do that. Otherwise, you've got your arms down by your side. You're going to keep your pelvis nice and still. So if you imagine your pelvic tilts where you roll forwards and backwards, we don't want any movement there, and neither do we want movement left or right. We're going to start today with bent knee fallout. We're going to kick it off with our left leg. So you're going to take a breath in, you're going to breathe out, allow your left leg to draw out towards the side without your right leg moving. You're going to pull that leg back into your centre line. Alternate sides for me. Take the right leg out towards the side and pull it back to the centre line. So just change sides in your own time. Everybody's range is a little bit different here. And even your left to right might be different. So you want to keep your pelvis still. So you'll take your leg out to the side within that range. So if you feel your hips tipping sideways, then that's where your range ends. Core is gently engaged. So just feel that tummy gently pull back towards your spine, and that is what is going to assist you to keep your pelvis still. So your abdominals are working to maintain the stability in your pelvis, and we're mobilizing your hip joints. We're going to do one more on each side, breathing out as the leg goes out, breathing in to draw the leg back in. You're going to make sure you're finishing on your right hand side for me. Once your leg's back in the centre, you're going to pause and you're going to wriggle your feet back into hip width distance apart. So again, we've got all of our joints lined up. We're going to keep our feet firmly on the mat. We're going to keep our shoulders nice and relaxed. We're going to do some arm arcs to get some shoulder mobility. We're going to think a moment about our ribs, our front ribs and our back ribs. So your ribs are touching the mat. All 12 of them should be touching the mat in some sort of format. You're going to keep them touching the mat. Today we're specifically going to think about the front ribs. I don't want you to let them move. So think of funneling your front ribs down towards your pelvis to maintain that rib to hip connection with your abdominal muscles. Keeping that connection switched on, take a breath in and breathe out to float both arms just straight to the ceiling. We're just going to do a couple to the ceiling and then bring the arms back down. Maintaining that nice rib to hip connection. Inhaling first, exhale to float your arms up towards the ceiling and then bring them down. Okay, we're going to go further back. You're going within your own range. Inhale first, exhale, arms float to the ceiling, maintain your rib to hip connection, go back as far as you can without your ribs moving, and then bring your arms all the way down by your side. So as you start these off, that range may not be very big. You're focused on your ribs staying still, and as soon as they start to lift or move, you stop moving your arms. Use your breath to help you. So you've got an exhale breath as your arms go backwards. That exhale breath is designed to assist you to keep your ribs funneled down towards your pelvis and maintain that connection. As you continue to go on, you might find you get that little bit further. Today you might not, depending on how your body's feeling. So again, just work within the range that you're able to control the rib to hip connection. We're going to do one more. Inhale first, and then exhale to float those arms to the ceiling. Take them as far back as you can, but maintain your rib to hip connection, and then bring them all the way back down. We're going to leave our arms down by our side, and we're going to flip our palms to the ceiling. We're going to warm up your lumbar spines with some tilts, then we're going to move into some bridges. So if you prefer to have your feet a little closer to your heels, no, your heels a bit closer to your hips. Wriggle your feet closer in. Shoulders are nice and relaxed. You can take a breath in. You're going to breathe out to roll your pelvis backwards and let your spine flatten into your mat. And then roll your pelvis forwards and let your back arch right up off of the mat. Exhaling as you roll backwards. Inhaling as you roll forwards. So start to get that movement going. Rolling backwards and forwards. Now your chin and your head are going to move. Your chin will pop into your chest. Your chin will pop up towards the ceiling. That's cool. Let that happen. But keep your feet firmly on the mat and keep your knees as still as you possibly can. So try not to let your knees wobble around in space. One more each way. Breathe out to roll backwards. Breathe in to roll forwards. Rest in neutral. Swivel from your wrists. Flip your palms down. Again, gently engage your arms into the mat. So that's going to help you switch back muscles on. Stand firmly in your feet. 4 points of your feet are touching the mat. Big toe, little toe right across that heel. Keep them touching, moving into bridges. Take a breath in. Breathe out to roll the pelvis backwards. Allow your spine to imprint, and then lift your hips right up off of the mat into a nice long straight line. Pause at the top, take a breath in, and breathe out to articulate your spine down one at a time through each vertebrae, and roll your pelvis through neutral. So inhale first, gentle tilt back. You feel that spine imprint. You come up into your bridge. You feel that opening through your hips. You're going to pause at the top. You're going to take a breath in, and you're going to breathe out to come all the way down. Nice long breath to assist you to move. Roll through neutral. Keep going. Take your focus back to your feet. 4 points of your feet are touching the mat. Big toe, little toe right through that heel. Arms of yours are still gently engaged into your mat. You want to get high enough in your bridge that you feel the stretch through the front of the crease of your thighs and your glutes engage. So once you get right to the top, you get that nice stretch through your hips and your butt is switched on. Now, ribs. Keep them funneled towards your pelvis, just like you did when you did your arm arcs. We've got 2 to go. Gentle tilt back, come into your bridge. Keep the ribs funneled towards the pelvis. We don't want any flaring to the ceiling. And then slowly articulate down. Maintain that even weight distribution through your feet. You've got 1 to go. Inhale first, gentle tilt back, up into that bridge, open up through your hips, stand firmly in your feet, pause, breath in, and down you come. Breathe out all the way, roll the pelvis through neutral. Reach down, grab your hands, interlace your hands behind your left leg, bring your left leg straight to the ceiling and pull that left leg in towards your chest. You're going to stay here, you're going to breathe. As you know, I've been doing lots of cycling, so my legs are a little tight. Okay, we're going to add a neural floss. So pull your toes to your nose, point your toes to the ceiling. Toes come to nose, toes come to ceiling. If that neural floss bothers you today, leave it out, just stretch your hammy. That's perfectly fine. Toes to nose, toes to ceiling, 1 more each way. And then you're going to return that foot down to the mat, and you're going to bring your right leg up. Again, interlace your hands behind your thigh, pull the leg in towards your chest, nice little stretch to the back of the hamstring, and then add your neural. Toes to nose, toes to ceiling. So flex and point, toes to nose, toes to ceiling, just let it move. Toes to nose, toes to ceiling. Breathing, inhale, exhale. And let that leg relax. Arms come back down to your side. Knees and feet are still, knees are bent, so feet are still firmly on the mat. We're going to do some leg circles, some small leg circles. So the first thing you can do is float your left leg up to tabletop at 90 degrees. Then you're going to stretch your left leg out on, let's go 45-degree angle. So both of your knees are roughly in line with each other. You're going to point your toe. Then you're going to draw me some circles on the wall on the other side of your room. Now, your circles are nice and round. You're taking nice big deep breaths, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. And your right leg is not moving. It's stable and it's still. Okay, pause at the top of your circle. Flex your foot, toes to nose. Reverse the direction of your circle. So we're doing one way with toes pointed and one way with foot flexed. Nice big deep breaths, inhaling and exhaling. That right leg's still stable. One more circle here. Pause, bend your knee, place your foot back down to the ground. Right leg comes up to tabletop first, then go into leg extension by stretching it out. Legs and knees are roughly in line with each other. Toe is pointed for your first set of circles. Nice and round. They don't need to be big. Your left leg's not moving. There's a cup of coffee sitting up on top of your left knee. You're trying not to spill that cup of coffee. You've got length in your right leg. You're trying to touch the wall on the opposite side of the room. Pause at the top. Flex your foot. Change the direction. Go the other way. Nice round circles. Inhaling, exhaling. Keep your breathing going. And remember, the opposite leg's not moving. Left leg's not wobbling around at all. Still got that cup of coffee on there for me. One more circle. Pause. Bend your knee and place your foot down to the ground. Take your hands and interlace them behind your head. Little finger, ring finger are on the base of the skull. Hands are running down the back of the neck. Elbows are wide. Set them up first for me. So reach your elbows out wide like you're trying to touch them on the opposite sides of the room. Stand firmly in your feet. Engage your stomach muscles just gently for me. Take a breath in and breathe out to lift your head, neck and shoulders up for me, and take your gaze down between your thighs and then lower yourself all the way down. So inhale, breath first. Exhale, lift head, neck and shoulders, gaze to those thighs and then lower yourself down. Those elbows of yours are still nice and wide. You're still trying to touch them on opposite sides of the room, and slowly down. Nice big deep breaths. Inhale first, exhale to lift. Gaze down between those thighs and then lower yourself all the way down. As you come up, you'll note that your spine goes from neutral to imprinted. You'll feel your spine flatten into the mat. Lower all the way down. We've got one to go. Inhale first, exhale. Head, neck and shoulders lift and lower all the way down. Take your hands from behind your head and bring them down by your side. I'm going to roll through single leg stretch and single straight leg stretch, one after the other. You can feel free to pause and rest at any point. The lower your legs, the more challenging the exercise will be. Try to keep your shoulders broad and wide, so try not to let them curl forwards as you do them. Okay, tummy muscles gently switched on again. Take a breath in and breathe out to float one leg to 90 degrees and hold it. Inhale, exhale, second leg joints it. Place your hands on top of your knees and then inhale, exhale to lift head, neck and shoulders up and gaze is down between your legs. Stretch one leg out nice and long and straight. Pull the other knee in towards your chest. Keep your shoulders wide here. Inhale, exhale, change them over. So, we're going to match the emphasis on both legs. As much as you are pulling one leg in towards your chest, the opposite leg is stretching out. So lengthen through that straight leg, pull the other leg in towards your chest. Now when I say into your chest, I want you really mean into your shoulder line. So try not to let it cross the midline of your body. Keep your shoulders broad and wide. Gaze. You should be looking down between your legs. Breathing. Nice big deep breaths. One more on each side. Then we're going to go into straight legs. You can rest if you want. Pause here. The leg that you're holding on to, straighten it to the ceiling. Slide your hands up the back of the leg, both legs long and straight. Inhale, exhale, scissor them over and change. Gaze. Still looking down between those legs. Lengthen through those toes. Point those toes and open up through your hips. Spine is imprinted, so you've still got your back gently touching your mat. You haven't let that arch return. Gaze. You're still looking down between your legs. Shoulders of yours, they are broad and they are wide. We're going to do one more on each side. Inhale, exhale. Change them over. Last one. I want you to bring both legs up to the ceiling. I want you to lower your head, neck and shoulders down. I want you to bend your knees. I want you to bring your knees into your chest. I want you to slide your hands around your shins and pull your knees gently into your chest. You're going to do a little rock from side to side. So you're just going to massage your lower back. It's a nice little massage in your lower back. And breathe. Alright, you're going to stretch your legs out long and straight. You're going to take your arms above your head. You're going to point your toes away from you. If you've got your arms above your head, you're going to open your fingertips. If an arm's above your head is not good for your shoulders today, just leave that out and stretch your legs. Otherwise, reach your fingertips away from you, reach your toes away from you, make your body as long as you possibly can. You're going to breathe in and you're going to breathe out as you float your long arms to the ceiling. You're going to bring them all the way down and you're going to rest them down by your side. Then you're going to roll yourself onto your side. We're going to cradle our head on our arm today. So if cradling your head on your arm bothers you, you could put a pillow under your head. You could put your foam roller here for support. Your bottom arm could be straight if that's your preference. Otherwise, you've just got to bend. No matter what your head is supported on, I want your head in line with your spine. So you don't want to be curled forwards like you're ready to have a little nap. So that should mean you're looking pretty much across your broom. We're going to start with clams. So we're going to have your knees bent and your feet are roughly back in line with your hips. You could even line yourself up on the edge of your mat. We're going to take our hand, we're going to place it on our hip and we're going to push our hip away. So we've stacked our pelvis. One side is now directly on top of the other side. We can feel a little lift through our waistline. You can keep our hand up here if we like. We're going to put it on the mat in front, but you're going to keep that position. Feet stay touching each other, just a little lift of the knee towards the ceiling for me, and then lower it down. We're only lifting the knee as high as we can without our hip rolling backwards. If we feel our hip rolling backwards, that's where we stop. So work within that range. Inhale, exhale. Sometimes we put a foam roller behind your hips to give you some feedback. You could stand it up behind your hip if you like. Sometimes in class, sometimes these days I use yoga blocks as well. So I could stand a yoga block behind you. Sometimes if you haven't got a yoga block at home, you could use anything, something that will be able to stand behind your hips. Shoebox, that'll give you some feedback as to whether your hips are rolling backwards. 2 to go. And last one, COVID taught us how to improvise with lots of unusual props. Pause and rest. Keep your bottom leg bent, stretch your top leg out long and straight, and flex your foot so your toes are pulled towards your nose. You've still got your hip in the same position. You're going to lift your leg up towards the ceiling, and then you're going to lower it down. As you lift your leg, inhale. As you lower your leg, exhale. As you float your leg up and down, you're maintaining that hip position. So if you're feeling your hips moving, probably lifting your leg a little bit too high. Focus on lengthen the leg. Nice long leg. Gently lift and lower. We've got 1 to go. Lift and lower. Rest the foot down on the mat. If your hand's on your hip, bring it down on the mat. And then I want you to now prop yourself up on the elbow. So you're going to move into this position. Foot is flexed still, so your toes are pulled towards your nose. And just double check your alignment here. So your elbow should be directly underneath your shoulder. So you've got that nice base of support. Hand can be on your hip, or you can bring it on the mat. You can choose. What we're going to do is do a side lift, and we're going to lift the hip up off in a second. So you choose, foot is flexed, head still in line with your spine. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, just float your hips up off of the mat, and then lower them all the way down. So tummy muscles are switched on, you're lifting through here, the elbows just for support. Inhale first, exhale. Think of lifting your hips up as opposed to pushing your arm into the mat. Foot stays flexed, use that a little bit like an ice skate or a wedge. Okay, nice long line through your body. You've got 2 to go, we're just doing 5. Inhale first, exhale, up you come, lift through that waistline, and then lower down. Last one, inhale, exhale to lift, and lower down. Okay, we're going to flip to the other side. We're going to go back down into cradling our head again, and we're going to go clams first. So come down, cradle your head in on your arm. Again, you can have a pillow, your roller underneath your head, arm straight, bent, whatever's good for you, but you do make sure that you've got your nice head, neck and shoulder alignment. Feet are tucked behind you, roughly in line with your hips. Hand starts on your hip, push that hip away, create that space within your waist and a nice straight pelvis for me. Hand can stay on the hip or come in front. Feet stay touching, you're going to lift your top knee to the ceiling and you're going to lower it down. In mind, you're going to imagine that I've stood a foam roller behind your hips. That foam roller is going to stay upright, so you're not opening that leg too much, so that you feel the little hip starting to tip back. Your breath is assisting, inhaling and exhaling. Nice and controlled through that torso, and we still have a little lift through our waistline. Team, we've got 3 to go. Gentle lift and lower. Nice long breaths. Lift and lower. And last one. Pause. Hands still on your hip if you like, or on the mat, you can choose. Stretch the top leg out long and straight, flex the foot, so toes pulled towards your nose. Lift your leg towards the ceiling and lower it down. Start to get the leg moving. Think of length in the leg. Your leg is as long as you can possibly make it. You're trying to scrape your leg and your heel up the wall on the other side of your room. You still have that little lift that you created between your waistline. Nice little gap there. Think of a little mouse house. Sometimes we refer to it as. Nice long breaths. Exhaling to lift. Inhale to lower. Okay, you've got 3 to go. Float the leg up. Lower it down. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. And last one. Lower the leg down. Let the leg rest. Keep the foot flexed. If your hand's on your hip, bring it down on the mat in front of you. And then gently come up onto your elbow. So elbows underneath shoulder. Check that nice alignment for me. That is a good base of support. We don't want to be too far out and too far in. You'll decrease your base of support. Bottom leg is bent for stability. Top leg is long, foot is flexed. Hand on the mat if you like, or on the hip, but make sure you're lifting with these muscles, not pushing with your arms. Take a breath in and breathe out to float your hip up off of the mat for me, and then lower it all the way down. Inhale first, exhale to lift. Lower down. So tummy muscles are switched on. You're using your obliques to lift your body up for me, and then lower all the way down. We're going to do 2 more. We're just doing 5. Inhale first, exhale to lift and lower, and last one. Inhale, exhale to lift and lower down. Flip yourself straight onto your stomach. We're going to come into some prone extensions. So let's take hands to goalpost position. Goalpost position is nice to begin this with. We'll wriggle the hands around a little bit later. Legs are out nice and long, tummy muscles are switched on. So you feel like you've got you're trying to lift your belly button off of the mat, so you can feel that little gentle engagement of your tummy muscles. Shoulders, they're relaxed. Draw them away from your ears. Hands are on forearms, elbows are on the floor. They are nice and relaxed. You're not pushing into them. You're going to take a breath in. You're going to breathe out to lift through the front of the chest, and you are just coming to the bottom of your ribs to begin with, and then you're going to lower down. So you just want to warm your spine up in this manner. Inhale first, exhale, up you come, just to the bottom of your rib cage for me, and then lower all the way down. There's no pressure into our arms, they're nice and relaxed. We've got our stomach muscles switched on, and we're using our back muscles to lift us up. Shoulders still staying nice and relaxed and away from your ears. Okay, we're going to do 1 more. Inhale first, exhale, up you come, and then lower all the way down. Slide your hands, so your hands are now in line with your fingertips are aligned with the top of your shoulders, okay? Little elbow wings are tucked in, so try not to let them flare out. Let's slide those legs together. Bit of inner thigh engagement first. Stomach muscles are still switched on. Going to come a little bit higher. Take a breath in, breathe out to lift through the front of your chest. And just come to the point that's high and comfortable for you, and then lower yourself all the way down. I want you to think length from the crown of your head. Inhale first, lengthen through the crown of your head as you gently lift the top part of your body up, and then lower all the way down. What's happening with your legs? Keep them nice and relaxed down on the mat for me. Inhale first, exhale, up you come. Elbows staying tucked into your waistline. Shoulder blades are down, and our shoulders away from the ears. 2 to go. Inhale first, exhale, up you come. And then lower yourself all the way down. 1 to go. Breathe in, breathe out to come up and down. Let's go into a little child's pose stretch. So bottom back to heels, arms in front if you can, otherwise you can tuck them by your side, doesn't matter. Whatever's good for you. Sink your hips back to your heels. Knees can be apart or together, whatever's good, again good for you. And just a nice big deep breath into the back of your rib cage. So you should feel your ribs expanding. Big deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Lucky last, big deep breath in and out. We're going to come back down onto our stomachs. This time we're going to prop ourselves up on our elbows. So you're going to come all the way down, prop yourself up on your elbows, and I'm going to get you to rest one hand on top of the other. Little Princess Mary pose. Little lift through the hips. So you feel like your stomach is just gently lifted up off of the mat. Gaze is out in front of you, shoulders are back and down. So you should look about probably a hand pace or 2 in front. Little lift through the hips. You're going to bring, so we're going to do single leg kick, but with a pointed foot as opposed to a flex foot. So toes are pointed. Bring your foot to your bottom. Pulse it twice with those pointed toes. Lengthen that leg and lower down. Change leg. Foot comes to bottom. Pulse twice. Keep the toes pointed. Lengthen the leg and lower it down. As you bring your foot to your bottom and pulse, your knee gently lifts off of the mat. As you lengthen the leg, the knee stays off of the mat. Foot comes to bottom, pulse twice. Lengthen long and lower. Changing sides in your own time. Now, think about what's happening with the rest of your body. Keep it still. Try not to let it bounce around. Foot to bottom, pulse twice, lengthen long and lower. It's an exhale breath as you pulse. Out and down. Pulse for 2. Out and down. 1 more on each side. Exhale. Out and down. Last one. Out and down. Come right down onto your stomach. Put one hand on top of the other and rest your head on your hands. So you could have your head to the side if that's more comfortable. Otherwise your forehead's resting on your hands. Either's fine. Just keep your shoulders relaxed for me. We're going to do some swimming legs. We're just doing swimming legs, and then we're going to go into heel beats. So let's lift. So keeping your hip bones touching the mat, Take a breath in and breathe out to float both legs up off the mat. Nice long legs for me. And then lower them down. So you shouldn't feel any tension coming into your lower back. Inhale first. Exhale. Lift both legs up. Make them really long. And then lower them all the way down. Use your breath to help. Inhale first. Exhale. Lengthen those legs. And then lower them down. We're going to do 2 more. Then we're going to swimming. Breathe out to lift. And lower them down. And last one. Inhale. Exhale to lift. And down. Okay, so we're going to lift both legs up and going to do swimming kicks. Again, we've got length in our legs. Inhale first, exhale up you come. Nice long legs, and then swim. So you're kicking your legs like you're swimming in a pool. Your legs are long. Keep your toes pointed. Keep breathing. Keep your torso still. Take 1 more inhale and exhale breath. Pause there, and lower both legs all the way down. We're going to do 1 more set, then we're going to go into heel beats. Inhale first. Exhale up you come. Nice long legs and swim. Kicking those legs, body still, legs are long. You should feel your legs working, your calves, your hamstring and your butt. Pause and lower all the way down. Rest for a second. And turn your toes out and your heels in towards each other. We're going to do that before we lift our legs. Tummy muscles are switched on. Take a breath in. Breathe out to lift both legs up. Those heels are turned in and away you go. Tap, 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 tap. So nice, strong heel beats. Bodies as stable as you can. Lengthen those legs. Legs are as long and straight as you can. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause and lower them all the way down. We're going to do 1 more set, just 2 sets of each today. Inhale first, exhale, lift those legs, turn those heels in, and away you go. Tap, 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 tap. That's it. Nice and strong, body stable. Keep the torso still as you can. Keep your breathing going. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause and down. Re-prop yourself up on your elbows. Reach back with 1 hand and grab a foot. If your knee's a bit grumpy today, watch your knee. Wriggle yourself back down onto your forearm and gently pull the sole of your foot to your hip. Little lift of the knee up off of the mat if you can. It depends on how tight your hip flexors are and your quads. Watch your knee. If your knee's a bit grumpy here, just let go and rest for a second. Okay, let go of that foot. Lower the leg down. Now you can choose. If you can reach back and grab the other one, reach back and grab it. Otherwise, prop yourself back up on your elbows. Then reach back and grab it. Foot comes to bottom, head returns down to the mat, and gently pull that foot towards your hips. Feel that nice stretch through the quad, front of your leg. Watch your knee if it's a bit grumpy. Breathe. And let go of the leg and lower it all the way down. Let's go back into little child's pose stretch again. So bottom back to heels. Let yourself stretch out. While you do that, I'm going to have a little sip of water. You're going to hang there for a second. You're going to breathe. So nice big deep breath into the back of the ribs, arms by your side if you prefer, obviously that's cool. 1 more breath. Okay, then bring yourself forwards, we're going to go into quadruped. So onto your hands and knees. If you prefer, you could use your knuckles, otherwise you've got flat hands. Check your knee alignment, so you should have a little gap between your knees. Your hands should be directly underneath your shoulders. So your body should be in a box shape. Here's your box shape, your arm is your body and your legs. The weight is through your little fingers. So you can physically lift your thumb up off of the mat. Your gaze is out in front of you. So your neck is nice and long. You're broad across your shoulders. Arms are straight. Body is still. Arms first for me. Take a breath in, breathe out. Slide one arm out, lift it out in front of you. Bring your fingertips to the mat and bring it back down, alternating sides. Arm goes out and lifts, bring it down. Keep that weight bearing through the outside of the little fingers, the outside of the hand. Neck stays nice and long. You should still be looking at the spot that you started with your eyes focused on your mat. Body's not moving. We're going to do 1 more on each side, then we're going to flip to our legs. Arms go out, lift up just as far as we can without our torso changing positions. Last one. Down. Okay, body's still. Hands are firmly on the mat. Little fingers are taking the weight through the outside. Slide your toes along the mat. Lift your leg up just to hip height. Put your foot back down and glide it underneath. So, alternating sides. Your pelvis is still. Try not to let it tip around. If you feel your hips moving and tipping, then that's as high as you're lifting your leg. You're taking as much focus and attention as when you bring the leg in as when you bring the leg out. So maintain that stability as you bring the leg. Would you return the leg back in? Breath, exhale. Inhale to return. Okay, one more on each side. Breathe in first. Breathe out, slide the leg out. Lift it up with control. Take the foot to the mat and bring it back down. Last one. Inhale first, exhale out and down. Okay, opposite arm and leg. Feel free to stick with singles if you prefer. Inhale first, exhale out you go. Lengthen them along and then bring them down with control. Maintain the focus on the down movement as much as the up. Lengthen through those limbs. Pelvis is still. Imagine there's a foam roller on your back. That foam roller touches the back of your head, it touches the back of your rib cage, and it touches your hips. That foam roller is not moving. The foam roller is not moving because your body is still. The only thing that's moving is your limbs. Okay, one more on each side. Inhale first, exhale out you go. Bring them down. Last one. Inhale first, exhale out you go. Bring them down. Now, you've got two choices here. You can come with me into a knee hover, where we're going to hover our knees up off of the mat, or you can go into child's pose. If you're going to come with me to a knee hover, you're going to tuck your toes under. So your toes are tucked under. You've still got the weight in the little fingers on your hands, and you can lift your thumbs. Your core is engaged, tummy muscles are switched on. We're not going to hold here for too long. Otherwise, take a breath in. As you breathe out, float your knees up off of the mat, maybe a centimetre or two. Hold here for a second and lower them down. We've got 3. Breathe in, breathe out to hover. Little lift to the knees, take the weight through the little fingers, lower down. 1 to go. Inhale first, exhale up you come. Lower down. To untuck your toes, we're going to go into a thread the needle stretch. Pick up your right hand, put it behind your left wrist, slide your arm through, bring your ear down towards the mat and go into a nice rotational stretch. And breathing. Nice, big, deep breaths. Slide your arm back out. We're going to change sides. Palm up, facing to the ceiling. Slide it through behind the right arm. Bring the ear down towards the mat. And again, breathe. Breathing in, breathing out. Last breath. Okay, slide your hand back and flip yourself into mermaid or a Z sit. So you have one leg in front and one leg behind. I have my right leg in front. So it might be good so you can follow my cueing if you put your right leg in front first. If this position bothers you, your hips are a bit too tight or it's just uncomfortable, feel free to stretch one leg out or both legs out. If you feel like your hip is lifted, like one butt cheek can't get on the ground, then you could slide a pillow underneath the other butt cheek. You could roll up your mat and tuck it underneath that butt cheek so your pelvis is square to the ground. Or again, otherwise just stretch one leg out long and straight. Okay. Little lift through the rib cage. So you've gone from here to here. Look across your room, find a spot for your eyes on the wall, take both arms out towards the side. Your right hand, your palm is down, your left hand, your palm is up. You're going to keep your eyes on your spot on the wall. You're going to take a breath in, you're going to breathe out to go over. You're going to reach your left arm above your head, your right elbow bends, your hip stays connected to the mat. You're going to come through the center and you're going to go over to the other side as well. You won't get as far on this side. This is your locked side. Inhale first, exhale, over you go. Those of you that have been doing mat classes with me might remember the day that I taught this in reverse. I actually accidentally taught you to rotate on your lock side and it was very, very difficult. That was a long time ago now. Inhale first. Exhale, hand comes to the ground, elbow bends, reach, 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 and get that leg through your side. Come through the center and change. Okay, we got one more on each side. Inhale first. Exhale, over you go. We're not doing rotation today. We're going to do that with twist in a minute. Last one to the other side. Come back to the center. Pause. Try to keep your hands up. This is not compulsory. You can put your hands down if you prefer. As you keep your hands up, see if you can swing your legs to the other side. Okay, again, if one of your hips is a bit tight or feels a bit pinchy, feel free to stretch one leg out long and straight or both. Now, your left hand is palm down. Your right hand is now palm up. You've sat up again. You've opened through the ribs. You've got your spot on the wall. You're going to take a breath in. You're going to breathe out to bring your left hand down onto the mat. You're going to soften your left elbow and you're going to reach your right arm right across the top of your head. You're going to come through the center and you're going to change to the other side. Hand comes down, elbow softens and reach and reach and reach. Inhale first, exhale, over you go. Elbow softens, reach your right arm right over the top of your head. Come back through the center and change. As you do these, keep your hips grounded. So your hips should not be lifting. If you're feeling your hip lift, then don't go quite so far. Gently ground through that hip. That will assist you to maintain your hip on the mat. If your hips are staying on the mat, then you're definitely getting that stretch through your side. We've got one more each way. Inhale first, exhale, over you go. Reach, 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 reach. Last one to the other side. When you get back into the center, you're going to pause. You're going to lower your arms down. We're going to go into spine stretch. So if you swing yourself around, stretch your legs out long and straight for me. Now, if your hammies are a bit tight, you could have your knees bent. That's perfectly fine. If your hammies are a bit tight, you can also sort of sit yourself up on something. So you could roll your mat up a little bit to give some height through the hips, like that. Or you could sit on a little pillow, something like that. If you're good though, you're going to sit with your legs just out long and straight and hip width distance apart. You're going to have your hands down by your side with your palms facing to the ceiling. Your shoulders are broad and wide. We're going to go into spine stretch. So you're going to take a breath in, you're going to bring your chin to your chest. You're going to scoop your belly backwards so your tummy muscles are switched on. Keep that scoop and slide your hands forwards, curl your body forwards, keep your sit bones touching the mat. Slide your hands back and come and sit up nice and tall and drop your shoulders away from your ears. Breathe in, breathe out, chin to chest. Round through that spine. Exhale as you curl forwards. Scoop that belly backwards and maintain that scooped position. Slide your hands back in. Sit up tall. Just check you don't feel dizzy. If you're feeling a little dizzy, stay there. Otherwise you're coming with me. Chin to chest. Round through that spine. Exhale as you curl forwards. Come all the way back up. Okay, we're going to do two more, and the last one we're going to hang out there. So breath in, tuck the chin to the chest, round that spine of yours backwards and breathe out as you curl yourself forwards. Come all the way back up, and the last one we're going to stay down there. So inhale first, tuck the chin to the chest, round through the spine. Breathe out as you curl forwards. Go all the way down. Now, hold onto your calves or your ankles, whatever you can reach. I don't want you to hold onto your feet. Okay, pull your toes towards your nose. Point your toes away from you. Pull your toes to your nose. Point your toes away from you. A little neural floss. Two more. Toes to nose. Toes away. Last one. Toes to nose. Toes away. Relax those feet and slowly come back up. And just sit for a minute. You can feel a little dizzy or lightheaded. We're going to go into twist next. You've got some choices for your hands. I'm going to have arms out towards the side. That's my pressment for you today, if you have room and if your shoulders are okay with it. Otherwise, hands can be across your chest or even hands on shoulders. One of those three is perfectly fine. Feet. Pull your feet towards you, toes towards your nose. So pick your arm position and you can change it. If you just choose to go arms out and it just gets a bit grumpy, then feel free to put them on your chest. Sit up as tall as you can. We're going to go to the left first. Take a breath in and breathe out to twist yourself towards the left. Keep your hands in line with your shoulders. Come back through the center and twist towards the right. Let's go again. Inhale first. Exhale. Twist yourself around, keeping your feet still. Come back through the center and over to the right. You can even watch your hands if you like. If you look towards your hands, Gives you a bit of feedback as to whether your arms are staying straight. Now remember, your feet are still, they're not moving. If you feel them moving, you're gently going to push down on the foot that you're twisting towards, one more each way. Inhale first, exhale, twist, 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 twist. Through the center, last one to the other side. When you get back to the middle, lower your arms down, give your shoulders a roll, and then grab a sip of water, roll your shoulders in one direction, roll them in the other. Okay, if you're not already there, I want you to scoot your butt a bit further down towards the end of your mat. Let's say feet touching, toes just touching the end of the mat. Knees are bent, knees and feet touching, but a good 60 centimeters or 2 feet between your heels and your hips, all right? Legs touching and engage them so you feel your inner thighs working. Sit up tall. We're going to do some half roll backs. Don't go too deep on the first few. Hands are on the outside of your legs and they're just going to slide, okay? You're not hanging on. So, breath in, chin to chest. Scoot your belly backwards, a little bit like your spine stretch. Tip your pelvis backwards like you're going to roll down into a bridge. And then roll backwards just halfway. Pause there, breathe in. And then breathe out to roll back up. Okay. So you can choose your depth. You don't need to go that low. Legs are engaged. Feel them squeezing together gently. Bring your chin to your chest. Slide your hands down your legs. Roll backwards just to that point. Pause there. Take a breath in. And breathe out to roll back up. You should feel your tummy muscles working. Okay, inhale first, chin to chest, down you go. Feet are firm. Don't let them slide on your mat. Pause there. Take a breath in and roll back up. Mine want to slide too, don't worry. 2 to go. Chin to chest. Round through your spine. Exhale as you roll backwards. Pause there. Breathe in and then roll back up as my tummy muscles are shaking as well. Last one. Inhale first, chin to chest. That little pause is important. Makes those stomach muscles work that little bit more. Pause and roll back up. Rest for a second. Stretch your legs out long and straight. If your heels are not hanging off of your mat, wriggle forward so your heels are just off of your mat. Sit up tall. We've got one full roll down and then we're going to go into some book openings. Arms are long, shoulders drawn away from your ears. Breathe in. As you exhale, bring your chin to your chest. Tip your pelvis backwards. Scoop your tummy muscles. Slowly roll down. Your legs are going to move here. That's okay. Take your arms right up overhead if you can. And then circle them around and bring them all the way down by your side. Roll yourself over onto your side. We're going to tuck ourselves into some book openings. If you like to have a pillow under your head as opposed to your arm bent, that's perfectly fine. Feel free to do so. Your roller can do the same job. Knees are bent, feet are in line with hips. Your chin's up off your chest, so you're looking across the room again. You're going to keep your knees gently squeezed together. You're going to rest your arm on the floor out in front of you, and you're just going to double check your hands in line with your shoulders. So you're only too high or too low. 2 to the ceiling, and then we'll add on. So we take a breath in, we're going to breathe out to bring our arm to the ceiling. Our gaze follows our hand, and then we're going to bring our arm back down to the floor. Inhale first, exhale, arm comes to the ceiling, gaze follows the hand, and then bring the hand down to the floor. Okay, we're going to move into some rotation. Inhale first, exhale, arm goes to the ceiling, moving into rotation. Your knees are gently squeezed together. You're going to lengthen your arm to the ceiling, make it really long, and bring it back to the floor. Hips are still. Imagine there's a garden stake stuck down through your hips and your pelvis. It's not going to let it tip backwards. As your arm's going up and back, your gaze follows. You get that nice rotation through the top part of your body. And then lengthen that long arm of yours to the ceiling and bring it back to the floor. We're going to do 2 more. Last one will hang out there. Inhale first. Exhale, arm goes to the ceiling. Move into your rotation. Keep your knees gently squeezed together. Keep the length in your arm. Lengthen your arm to the ceiling and bring it back to the floor. Okay, last one. We're going to hang out there. Inhale first. Exhale, arm goes to the ceiling. Move into your rotation. When you find the point that you just can't get any further, that's when your knees can drop apart. See if you can get your arm further to the ground. And breathe. Nice big deep breaths. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing In and out. Okay, gently squeeze your knees together again. Switch those tummy muscles on. Lengthen your arm to the ceiling and bring it back to the floor. Okay, we're going to change sides. Move yourself around slowly. You don't need to rush. Don't want to feel dizzy. Wiggle yourself around, same position. Again, bring your pillow with you if that's better, or you brought your foam roller with you. Your head is resting on your arm, your knees are bent, your chin's up off of your chest, your top hand is on the floor in front of you, not too high, not too low. Knees gently engaged, so keep this bottom part of your body still. Take a breath in, breathe out to bring your arm to the ceiling and allow your gaze to follow your hand, and then bring your hand back down to the floor. Inhale first, exhale, arm goes to the ceiling, gaze follows the hand, and then bring the hand to the floor. Okay, moving into rotation. Inhale first, exhale, arm goes to the ceiling, rotate further back, keep your knees squeezed together for me. Lengthen your arm to the ceiling, make it long, try and touch the ceiling, and back to the floor. Breath is designed to assist you, team. Breathe out as you go back. Nice long breaths. Back to the ceiling, back to the floor. 2 to go. Last one will hang out there. Inhale first, exhale, back you go. Nice long arm. Keep those knees and hips still for this one. You've got 1 to go. That's when we'll drop them back. All right, last one. Inhale first, exhale, arm goes to the ceiling. Move into rotation. Once you found the point where you just can't get any further, that's when you're going to drop your knees apart. You're going to get your arm further to the ground, and you're going to breathe. Nice big deep breaths, inhaling and exhaling. And breathe. Okay, tummy muscles switched on, knees squeezed together, lengthen your arm to the ceiling, and bring it back to the floor. Okay, roll directly onto your back for me. So just roll yourself straight over. All right, left leg, let's stretch it out long and straight. Right leg, let's bring it up to tabletop. Left hand's going to go on the outside of the right knee. Right arm is out on the floor for some stability, and gently pull that knee across your body and stretch through that hip. And breathe. Nice big deep breaths. Inhale, exhale. Breathing in and breathing out. One more breath. Then gently let go of that leg and bring it back to the floor. Changing sides. Bring your left leg to tabletop, right hand on the outside of the knee, pull it across the body, left hand's on the floor, out beside you. Gently engage your hand into your knee to increase the stretch. Don't let your shoulders leave the mat. One more breath here. Bring that leg back to tabletop, hold it there. Let go of your knee. Both arms have returned to your side. Float your right leg to tabletop. We're going to do one assisted roll up. If you prefer to sit up in a different manner, that's okay. Feel free to do so. Hands tucked behind your knees. Arms are nice and long and straight. Stomach muscles are switched on. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, chin comes to chest. Push your feet away from you and roll yourself up. And then just sit. Sit for a second for me. We've been lying down for a fair bit, so we're going to make sure that we don't feel dizzy or lightheaded before we move. If you're feeling dizzy or lightheaded, just hold 5 and hang there until you don't. Otherwise, we're going to come up to standing and we're going to do some standing roll up and downs. So wriggle yourself up into standing. Once you're up, you're going to have your feet hip width distance apart and stand nice and tall. You're going to stand firmly through your feet, big toe, little toe and heel. You've got that tripod, but you're going to have more weight from your body distributed forwards. So we're going to go 60-40. 60% of your body weight is through the front of your feet, 40% is through your heels. Firm across those even weight distribution through your feet, arms are hanging by your side, shoulders are relaxed. Take a breath in. As you exhale, tuck your chin towards your chest and roll forwards. Keep that weight distribution of 60-40 for me. Let your arms just completely hang out of their sockets. Pause at the bottom, take a breath in and breathe out to come all the way back up. Drop your shoulders away from your ears, keep your 60-40. On these, just be mindful you don't get dizzy or lightheaded. Inhale first, tuck the chin to the chest and down you go. Arms are hanging They're just hanging out of your shoulder sockets. Nice long breath as you go down. Pause, take a breath in. Lead with your tailbone. Tuck your tailbone under. Use your tummy muscles to scoop through your belly. Roll yourself up. Your hips should be relatively still. Stand tall. Eyes are open. Check for dizziness. Going again. Inhale first. Tuck the chin to the chest. Long breath out as you go all the way down. Arms are hanging. Eyes are open. Pause at the bottom. Take a breath in. Lead with the tailbone. Tuck with the tailbone. Use your tummy muscles. So your belly button should be pulled back towards your spine. Slowly come back up to the top. Okay, we've got 2 to go. Inhale first. Tuck the chin to the chest. Long breath out as you go down. Breathe out all the way. If you run out of air, make sure you take another breath, but you're trying for 1 full breath pattern for each movement. Inhale there. Exhale. Tailbone leads the movement. You've tucked your tailbone under. Your tummy muscles are working to pull your spine gently back up bit by bit. You're standing tall. You've got 1 to go. Inhale first, chin to chest. Long breath out as you go all the way down. Breathe out, breathe out, breathe out. Pause. Inhale. Tailbone tuck, scoop through the belly, and back up your cover. When you get to the top, you're just going to stand. You're going to roll your shoulders. You're going to roll them a couple of times in one direction, and then you're going to roll them the other way. You're going to let your hands drop down by your side. You're going to stand up nice and tall, and you're going to find a spot for your eyes across the room. If across the room is a window, I want you to watch something that is not moving. Fix your eyes on something that is fixed. And gently lift your heels up off of the ground and slowly lower those heels down. Okay, gently lift your heels and lower your heels as slowly as you can. 1 more. Gentle lift of the heels and lower as slowly as you can. Okay, we're going to add some arms into this. So as you come up onto your tippy toes, float your arms out towards the side. Take them to the ceiling if that's comfortable for your shoulders today. Take your arms out towards the side, open through the palms, and slowly return the heels to the ground. Inhale first, exhale. Out and up. And slowly lower. Heels return to the ground. You've got 1 to go. Use your breath. Inhale first, exhale. Out to the side, onto your tippy toes. Reach your arms right up towards the ceiling if you possibly can. Make your arms really long. You're trying to touch your hands on the opposite side of the room. Lengthen, 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 and slowly lower those heels to the ground. Well done, team. Hope you enjoyed that class. As always, if you have any queries or concerns, you know where to find me. You've got the class for 7 days, so you can do it as many times as you like. If you only get time to do it once, it doesn't really matter, but if you get to do it several times, then just notice the difference in your body as you're going along through each of the exercises. Any questions, let me know, and I'll look forward to seeing you all in class soon. Bye now.